to our presentation. And thank you for coming to our presentation, and also thank you that you can stay in this town for 3 days. It's a really nice city. We like to walk around here and to experience another kind of Latvia. And we were observing the area around Sigulda, and as we had yesterday the conversation with the mayor, he told us that he sees the city as an uncutted or rough diamond. So that's our theme, that we want to give possibilities or aims how you can make from this uncut diamond and cutted diamond and a sharp diamond.
No, you say this one. Okay. Here, in general, all in all, we found out that this city is really well located between this beautiful river, and also in the south there are located some lakes you already mentioned in the map. And the city is so close to Riga that a lot of people come here because mobility is no problem anymore, and they begin to live here and work near to Riga, for example. So the city is growing. As I mentioned before, that the city is surrounded by a really beautiful landscape, not only on this riverside, especially on the other riverside, which is protected. One can say that this is a quiet lifestyle that we found here. There are, for example, no students, but a lot of families with small children and also elderly people. The reason that, because of the city is small enough, you can walk everywhere or just take the bicycle to reach every point of interest in the city.
So we had also some parts or things we recognized which we were a bit more critical with it, and for example we missed a bit when we were walking through the city. We felt a bit loose because they were just the green spaces were not so organized. There were in some areas some strange art objects placed, which we didn't relate really to the place. So we thought that it could be good probably to have a green strategy which could manage all these areas and make it more come together. And also when we were coming out, because the first way we took, we were in the hostel and then we were walking down the valley, and then we were coming up next to the center, and it was just till the last 50 meters it was almost impossible to see the city, and we just could see some parts like the bobsled track before from downstairs the valley, so it was really hard to recognize the city border. At least there is a city. Could also have been that there's nothing up there, just a grassland or so. And that's also other way around if you're coming, if you're in the city and you're walking in the city, and then there's just a border, and the slope starts with high trees and the shrubs below it. So you can't really see that there's a slope. So it would be nice to change also something in this area, because it seems that it's like a border, it's not really connected. Also, we felt a bit lost when we were walking in the city. Where's the main center? Because, of course, there are not so many inhabitants in the city, and with 10,000 people, it's quite difficult to become a dense area which we are maybe used from bigger cities. So it's probably normal that it's quite difficult to orientate and to find the place where the main commercial is. Yeah, and the last points we can maybe just skip.
No, that was interesting. That one.
Yeah, because I mean the town has a reputation as Little Switzerland. We heard some people call it like that, and we see now these houses coming up which seem to be inspired by Swiss style. And we think that leave Switzerland in Switzerland and let Sigulda be Sigulda and Latvia. And, that's better.
Because you have also really nice houses here, and it's quite interesting to see.
Good Abstand. Schweiz. Aber komm jetzt, der ist
Yeah, so coming back again, what he was saying, basically when we walk here around as foreigners, as tourists, we were pretty much in a permanent state of being lost. Like it was, the city felt not so well structured. It was a bit difficult to find a way, except for the signs which are placed everywhere. But other than that, there's not really any visual
physical.
How you say? There's no. It's difficult to understand where you are when you're in the town.
And that's why we had our first main aim to create a framework which can also establish the city growth, which will be in the future, and which can be also an orientation for the new housing. So we took a step back in scale and were observing the area, and it's as the other groups already mentioned, that we have this big natural reserve valley which is really beautiful, and it's the city also started to grow in this area with the castle and with the villas, and in the south we have also the lakes, so we have two nice natural blocks or parts, one below and one in the top of the city, which are like framing the city, and it's a really rich thing what you have here, a good opportunity. Yeah, and the city is placed in the center, which is marking the circle.
Maybe we'd like to draw a little bit attention as well on this area, which is here, because the valley it's quite obviously protected. It's all forest. It's a national park, and nothing much can be done there. But we feel that this area it's all private land, and if nothing is done, if you don't set up any rules or anything, lots of people will just come and all start to buy some land and build their houses, and it will just become a little bit of a mess. And we don't know if there's any such plans. Maybe they are there. We don't know about it, but we feel that it's very important to have some idea what you want here to happen, because if you don't have a clear plan for what's going to happen here, there's just going to happen all kind of things that you cannot control as a city. And yeah, I mean there have been some discussions if this should be really developed, and we think maybe that close to the lakes, I mean maybe this should remain more agricultural, because if you are going to the lake, it's a big difference to have a lake next to the city or to have a lake in the countryside. I mean, if you go to the lake and it's in the countryside, if there's not too many houses, you feel that you're in a different place than when all the city would expand and come here. That would have a different feeling.
Yeah, so we are proposing for the growth of the city, because a lot of inhabitants will come here and want to live in Sigulda, to maybe left this area free, that you can have the lakes and the countryside and feel that it's a really rich area there, and to fill up some places which are in the city, because even though there are already a lot of houses, it feels a bit like that there are a lot of place for other housing in the city, in those areas here. So we would like to see, or we hope that the city could start growing in those areas and plots which are still free and without housing. And then our next step was that we had a look on this area and came closer to the center of the city.
So when we look at the map, in the first instance, we had the feeling that there's this whole green stripe going pretty much from the train station to the castle, and you have some other monuments like the Rathus, the council house, and the church here. And it looking from above on the map, it seemed like it works like that, but actually, when we look at it in reality, this is not functioning as an axis between the station and the castle. Yeah. Can you put the next slide? Because there is this block of housing, which is kind of in the middle of this axis. We start to lose a little bit. We get a little bit confused because, for example, when we are at this point, it's really hard to see where you are because the church, it's somewhere behind the housing, and it's not clear where's the castle, where's the church